Hey, what's good? I'm the first to admit I have some odder hobbies than most. And by odder, I mean geekier, but it's kind of the same thing a lot of times. One of the things I kind of enjoy doing, it's digging through conspiracy theories. I think it's interesting as we go through history, and there's been some theories that have a lot of merit behind them. Some turn out to be the conspiracy was true, and it actually was this whole planned event, some false flags, stuff like that. Gulf of Tonkin's a perfect example. And you start to see, like, the other ones that just get wacky. And it's kind of interesting to, like, see where people draw these lines of completely unrelated things and force them into relation to make this theory fit for them. I'm not going to do a list or a top thing because I kind of find that to be clickbaity, tacky in a way, which me acting like a 6-year-old on YouTube is not tacky or childish, but I just don't want to go down that route. But I'm just going to do 3 of the favorites that I have, and I'm going to expand a little more on it. The 3 favorites I have are the people that have the biggest problem with homosexuality should push for gay marriage. The reason why, it's going to ruin the fetish they have, this kink of being gay. And so once we allow gay marriage, gay people get bored of this whole thing, and they'll move on to other deviant fetishes. That it's just like, I guess some people still have that kind of mindset about it. Homosexuality is a fetish, but I just thought it's even funnier that the people that are against it now feel that the best way to combat it is to support it. But hey, whatever. The other one that I really, really like is the moon is not real. Not the moon landing. The moon is not real. There's a guy who generally thinks it's some sort of reason that the governments of the world project the moon. And they don't talk about the moon history, which... So the moon isn't real. It's a government experiment to test how stupid people are, and we're all suckers for it. Those tides, it's done by like earthquake machines or something. I don't know. As I said, I'm not really going to expand too much, and I don't want to give them credit because, well, and the third out of the 3 is the whole idea of like this true forced loneliness. Like, maybe you just suck and that's why you're single. And the other idea of, just that whole thing is that whole circle of people just train wrecks. I love it. It's like, I don't see why Taylor Swift isn't dating me even though I'm 37 years old, I've never had a job, and I'm a neo-Nazi. It's clear that the Mason reptile Jews or whatever, that whole group, they're all one person now. The 1% reptile Mason Jews are all out to get me and make sure that I don't have a girlfriend. Yeah, that's what it is. And I've actually seen like women take part in that whole idea too, which is even funnier. Is you just have these absolute unacceptable people. I mean, and it's the other thing too. It's like the refusal to just like you have to invent a boogeyman. But I like to dig more into the whole idea of the histories and some of those things. Something like, I guess, I don't even know if you really can call it like a conspiracy theory, but the whole idea of the Lusitania being a false flag, which has a lot of evidence for it. There was a really well done one that has a great documentary that I guess if someone asks, I'll send the link. Otherwise, I'm not going to bother posting it. But about the Titanic being switched out, and actually was the Britannic. And this whole thing with the White Star Lines and the bullshit that they were involved in, which is actually all true and had a lot of weight into it. They actually couldn't prove this theory incorrect till the 80s when they did some of the diving on it and everything. It's really neat. And as I said, like, if you're naval history, like shipwrecks, things like that, it's an excellent documentary. I really enjoyed it, but it's really cool for this one. This is what I like to show this one to people that don't get why I kind of enjoy conspiracy theories, because this is not some crackpot thing about aliens or stuff like that. This has a very scientific layout, but it kind of falls into things with the crazy 1% running the universe for space monkeys or something like that, but it just kind of has a whole bunch of engineering, history, stuff like that. One of the sister ships in the Titanic was involved in smashing into a Royal Navy vessel, was beat to crap. The boilers were junky at the time, so they switched the plates, and it was actually the Britannic that was going out and was beat to shit, and they let it sink on purpose, and everything went wrong. That's why so many people died. But it's kind of neat to see that one. It's an alternate theory more than like a conspiracy theory, but the fact that it was all done on purpose still pushes it back into like the conspiracy theory realm, I guess. But you know, some people have different views on things, and it was kind of cool to see this one, and it's obviously disappeared since they've done the research, and they were able to do some engineering stuff in the 80s when they were able to look down at the Titanic when they first found it, and were able to actually prove it, the Titanic was the Titanic. You know, there's a lot of stuff mixed up about, like, was it actually intentional? Did they have things where it was ignored? So there's still a lot of mystery. I like mystery a lot, and I think the conspiracy theories, for me, dig into it to a kind of a lighter and a comical level, as well as it really, I like to see how people push one and one together to make four. I mean, instead of using the basic analogy of 1 to 1 to get 3 for putting things together incorrectly, the 1 to 1 to 4 is obviously 1 1 is 2, but the double of 2, 2 and 2 is 4. So, you know, how to get something a step beyond what actually happens. And I think that's what's so interesting to me, is we push these things together that shouldn't be together to get what we want. And I don't know, I also think what's kind of fun too for me is I try to read through some of these theories and try to find, like, who's out there just having a good time writing a really good story? Who actually buys into this? And what's, like, the ratio? Do we have, like, okay, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to make up a conspiracy theory right now. The color green is cancer-causing. Now, I'm going to go write this whole couple web pages about it and go on YouTube and blah, blah, about the color green being cancer-causing, and that's really the whole reason of cancer. And see, like, how many people jump along? Now, how many people are pulling my chain that they support this? How many people are just going to laugh at me? How many people are going to actually try to, like, rebuke this, because it's clearly, we can scientifically prove that colors, how they work and things like that, and have nothing to do with cancer. Certain paints can involve that, but, you know, overall the color green can't cause cancer. And then how many people are going to not, or just going to take my story and buy it up and, like, be on my side, not in a comical way, or thinking like I'm some sort of step ahead to see through the BS. I actually I heard a new conspiracy theory, so I can't really take pride in it, but someone just mentioned it in passing, so I want to kind of almost steal it, and I'm going to run with it. So what have we seen a decline in the United States? Big time health thing. Smoking, it's going down. What are we seeing increase more and more? Autism. Now, you see the trends, how they're matching up. Tobacco prevents autism. So I'm going to start pushing this one. I'm not actually going to do that. I find, you know, as I said, with the whole thing about people pushing that, it's one thing. I mean, I do a lot of goofy things and troll around, but to do something like that, I find it's up there to push, like, it's kind of tormenting, like, the mentally ill, and that's not cool, you know. So I would never actually push this whole thing, and I hope you don't believe that tobacco causes autism or there's any sort of link between the two of them. So I just want to kind of throw a disclaimer that I'm not the worst person ever, because I have weird hobbies. But yeah, no, it's kind of a thing of mine, is I like to goof off and read some of these weird theories, and I said I really more enjoy the ones that have, like, a lot of scientific base and facts. And you know, the main, like, the big ones that come out there are really not that even enjoyable to research or anything. I mean, you hear them and you're done with them. It's the oddball ones that I find a lot more enjoyable. I mean, there's only so many times and so many different ideas you can read about who shot Kennedy, did we actually get to the moon, and who's behind 9/11. To be honest, like, as far as reading it for entertainment value, none of them are very well done. You know, if you have your beliefs into the one thing or anything, it's just kind of dry written. It's not fun as, like, this crazy outlandish thing, you know, as like the moon not being real. It's just hysterical because it's so off, versus you know, that Titanic one where they have so much engineering on both sides. They're saying, like, okay, look at this, this would make sense, and then, you know, they show, like, these rivets that were actually switched out because of something else, and, you know, they had some good evidence, and then when this evidence came to prove this theory is incorrect and the Titanic was truly the Titanic, the conspiracy like theory dropped out. But it was not even as much as a theory as it was like, as I said, just kind of an alternate point of view that had, but because of all this stuff, it kind of fell into a conspiracy theory. So that's about all. I just wanted to do a little quick video on my geeky hobby. And I don't know if some people are into it. Maybe there's some people out there who kind of like to read about these things and don't really buy into any of them. But I also, as I said, I really like to see the stuff that's like was passed off at a time, and then it turns out like it was actually real. Like Gulf of Tonkin's a perfect example. And I only really named the really big ones just because everybody knows those. So, if you have some, please feel free to send them to me. I'd love to give them a read. So that's about all. Just want to be a geek for a little bit. Have a good one.